Imagine really quick that you're sitting in a movie theater, and between the two of you sits Homer. And let's say he speaks English, say he understands what movies are. What is an aspect of your performance that you'd love to get his thoughts on?
I'd be like, so Homer, how do you feel about the screen time given to these women, considering how little you spent with them? Like, remember us?
It's an amazing role. It's the best role I've ever had a chance to play, in the sense that it's foundational to Western literature, and it's surviving 3,000 years later. Because he's so complex and unmistakably human, and he gets some things wrong. He can be angry, he can be proud, he can be silly, he can be all of these things. Hopefully, Homer would recognize the character he dreamed up seeing that performance.
Oh, that's funny. This is the difference. So you see Christopher Nolan. I have stuff about the Odyssey I'll say at some point. But everyone's talking about Christopher Nolan being a great director. I was like, really? What has he done? I didn't like most of the stuff he did. And I look at all the films, it's all guy stuff. But yeah, I get it now. So the people that really love him are men. The reason why he's so successful in the box office is because men are the people that go to movies. I don't know why we don't make movies for men, because they're the ones who go to them. Women don't like movies. You know why women don't like movies? Because you have to sit 2 hours in the dark. Why did I get dressed up? Why did I put on my makeup? And why did I look like Barbie so that I could sit there in the dark? No, they dressed up like Barbie so they could get their photo ops. They probably didn't care so much about the movie, but they were excited to go dancing and drinking afterwards and take more pictures. Because that's what women do. So Supergirl didn't even have a cute outfit. There was nothing for women. They could have banked on it with women if they made her like Harley Quinn, and then everyone could just get their photo ops. They weren't there for the movie, so what? They would do their photo ops, they would buy tickets, they would get there. They don't understand women. They just don't. I don't get it. There's a reason why Barbie did so successful. There's a reason why Blake Lively was trying to tell everyone, okay, it was a DA movie. It was very misguided what she was doing, but there's a reason why she kept telling people to dress up in their best sundresses and their favorite sundresses and go to the movie, because she understood that women like their photo ops at the movies. And if you were a Supergirl marketer, you would have made a cute, sexy outfit for the girls so that they could say, I'm not being slutty, I'm just dressed like Supergirl. And guess what? That's why Wonder Woman does so well, because it's already guaranteed that the men will like it. They love it. And so then women are there in aesthetic already guaranteed that they'll get good attention. They really blew it. See, these are the things that my family's just like, you're sexist. I just am realistic. I'm looking at patterns. I'm not seeing women show up to intellectual things. There's a reason Oppenheimer wasn't the woman movie of that weekend. So anyway, Christopher Nolan, clearly, he's a guy's guy. That was what his movies were. And that's why they're shocked about, the controversy, because he was so respected and he was so good at the box office. He's making movies for men. Well, I mean, he used to. I just really felt like when I was seeing some of these choices, even I was like, I don't know if that's really what men want. Call me crazy. I'm not a man, though. And then we have Davis Course. When it comes to video games, I wish someone would make a game like Silent Hunter, but it takes practice in the early 1800 age of sail. But I'm probably the only person. I don't think so, Davis Course. Do you follow Shad M. Brooks? Do you know him? And then there's another Segeth. If you follow them, they have some really cool stuff. Shad M. Brooks is like all about the swords and armor. I bet and Segeth really knows a lot about history and the accuracy of history. So I wonder if you would enjoy their stuff. They have so much stuff about that. Just the really traditional, actual historically accurate things. And they love that in games and movies. So I don't think it's only you. And they're popular on YouTube, so I think there is a place for it. I mean, this is the same. You could say that the RTS, the ones that the gaming industry decided no one wanted to buy, was it Warcraft? Not World of Warcraft, but the Warcraft, and then that RTS, right? And they killed it. And they said it was because no one wanted it. But I don't think that was the case. I just think they didn't want to actually have to do the work into creating the good strategy game. But I did have to watch a lot of games growing up, and it just feels like the gaming industry doesn't care about men. I'm just confused. I'm confused. Do they want to make money? I don't know. I don't know. I don't think they do. Anyway, we are almost 3 hours in. Women are bizarre beings. We really are Dr. M69. So true. I saw an interesting video about game censorship earlier, talking about how some devs are alienating their core audience because money has taken a backseat to defeating the male gaze. So weird, though. Why? Because a lot of women still want that gaze. So I'm just not sure. And I see the same with Helen of Troy. I am thinking maybe don't subvert your source material. I'm really against subverting source material. I think you're basically, if you look at the word subverting, you're tearing it apart, breaking it down, ruining it, basically. So whenever someone says this is very subversive, okay, you're destroying it, basically. Okay, so take all that away from the Odyssey. Someone like Helen of Troy, I really do not understand the whole concept. She's a superlative. There are many women in this film that are not superlative, the most beautiful woman in the world. So while mythical goddesses should still be beautiful, there were other characteristics in Athena or Penelope. All of them had characters and a backstory too, by the way. There is a backstory, and Helen has a backstory. I think it's in the Iliad, is that right? But isn't she born from an egg, right? She's born from an egg because it's just Zeus is her father. But she's still a human, most beautiful human in the world. So again, depending on your culture, you might have a different feel of that. Fine. But can't we just all agree that every culture does have an aesthetic of what they believe would be the most beautiful person of that culture? So whatever culture you decide, shouldn't you reflect the superlative of that culture, what that culture believes is the most beautiful woman in the world? That would be my question. Doesn't make sense not to, because that's the whole point of that character. Her existence in this, everything's run around it. I mean, let's not even get to Lupita and her little, you don't spend time on women, because you did. Usually that would be a correct statement. A feminist might be able to say, yeah, that's an easy thing to say. And it would actually work for most of your classical literature. But this one was one of the most women-centric stories in that historical period. That was a very woman-centric, especially in the Greek, because women were a big part of their mythology. They were not weaklings. They were good women, bad women, strengths and weaknesses in both. So it was a very well, I think, rounded space of literature for women specifically. And if you're looking at history, how history goes, but also knowing that it's a point of view, it's Odysseus, it's the Odyssey, so it is a man. It's not like it was it's a man. It was about a man. It's his journey. So yeah, a little man-centric because of the main character. My whole thoughts on that is basically, if you're going to subvert the text, if you're going to change the descriptor of the woman in the text is actually fair-skinned, it is blue-eyed, it is blonde hair, or it is reflected in the words that they might have used at that time that would reflect bright eyes. Also knowing the context of the time, that if you did have fair skin, that was better because you didn't have to work outside. There were certain reasons back then. Also, you were supposed to be, I think, a little more plump because it showed that you were well fed. So obviously, Helen of Troy, the idea throughout history is going to look different. So you can understand that in a way, but you still want anyone, no matter their taste, to be able to look and say, yeah, I could not argue. I could argue she doesn't look like my thought of Helen of Troy, but I can't say she's not a beautiful woman. I can't say she's not one of the most beautiful women I could see. I mean, there's a Miss World for a reason. There's plenty of women in the world who fit the most beautiful women in the world that are all different races, all different cultures. And go to Miss World. You could have sourced a better person there. I'm really not trying to be mean, but if you're going to accept a role, I would not accept the role of Helen of Troy. I would be up for being torn apart. Just know where you stand in life, man. Lupita could have accepted Athena, but I just don't believe in the majority's mind that they don't have to use their full imagination, and that's because it's a superlative role of the most beautiful woman in the world. Like, there are 10 women in the world that really could fit this role, right? Actually, there's technically one, but you know what I mean. There's a handful of women that will fit this role. I just have to be honest, they didn't choose one. And going into it, you just have to have no self-awareness to understand that Lupita is very pretty, but she's a taste. She's a type pretty. You just have to know where you land with the masses, not just with like people who just want to be nice and not be realistic about there is a grading system. And let's be clear, everyone can't be a 10. You can't be special if everyone's special. So yeah, that was like a weird tangent. So I'm delirious. I blame the cold. Like, I'm never gonna watch this, and it doesn't even look interesting. It's clearly not for me. It's not my style. It's too stressful. Oh, Davis Course is saying Assassin's Creed Black Flag is fun, and I'm sure remakes is too. If you cross that game in Silent Hunter with all of its naval navigation strategy would be fun. See, that's what I think. It's like they didn't want to think about how to do it where it really could be successful. I'm not even a female gamer. I play some games. There was a big difference. 3 hours. 3 hours. We did it somehow. And I did an hour longer than I've ever done. Probably because it's 10:30. This is where the insomnia kicks in. So maybe I should start doing midnight feed, but I do actually have to try to sleep. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I know most people don't stay for the whole time, even if you like me. So I do appreciate any of you staying at any point in time, and I never judge you if you have to leave. You have lives. Chris Moore, if you get to this, hi. I don't know if you'll get to this point. Usually he checks them out, my videos out later, but he's a good guy. He's very supportive. He offered to send me a new camera, which is really, I just think he's awesome. I don't have a PO box or anything to accept things right now, but it was a very nice offer and gesture, and just I want to shout out to him for that. Just great guy. Very, very nice. Thank you. Definitely come back frequently. I will be posting. So if you're wondering where I am posting. It's just you're probably not getting it on your feed.
Let's go.